Hello everyone, it's your favorite whiny little bitch to play whiny little bitch game. So when I was looking around in the last video, I was looking at some of these puzzles thinking, I just need to get rid of the ones I know will be bad. I want to end on a high note, so let me play puzzles that will be bad. And how do you know a puzzle will be bad just by looking at it? Well, let's just see what the rules are. This rule is bad. I started off not hating this rule, but I've come to hate this rule because the puzzles it creates are uninteresting at best. And then the other one, there's one other puzzle here that has, is it this one? No, it was one, is it here? I'll find it. There's one more that was like, I don't want to do that puzzle. I'll find it. We're going to do those two today. Maybe we'll only do one, it depends on how terrible they are. And I am fully prepared to cheat. I'm fully prepared to hate the puzzles so much I just say, it was around here somewhere. Was it here? No. It wasn't any of these. These ones all look fine. I'll find it. I'll find it. There's one more that features a bricky rule, and bricky is a terrible rule. So let's do the one I see. This one will probably suck. That's just what's going to happen. So the first thing we know when we have loopy and we have a square is we do this. I've done too many puzzles with this thing. I feel like there should be maybe 2 or 3 puzzles that do this, and then we should be done. We should just be done with that concept. This is a game that has never once been edited, even slightly. They just threw everything at it, whatever. I'm mad about that. I'm going to stay mad. So this has to be all blue. That's got to be red. That's got to be red. These have to be blue, so that's got to be red. That's got to be red. I think those are the only gimmies. So we've done plenty of puzzles already where we have the loopy rules, so we know the edge. We have rows, windows, and only 2 regions, so we know it's going to be this, and then we throw watchtowers in there. So we know we got to make 2 big regions, one red, one blue, such that there's no weird intersections. Great. Awesome. So I've got to do this. There's got to be at least one red here, but it could be that, or we could just have one of these things going on. If there's red here, it's on all of them. Same with that. Well, one of these is going to be red and one of them is going to be blue. That's just what's going to happen. So if I made this one the blue one, I'd also have to make that the blue one and that the blue one. I think this is wrong, and here's why I think this is wrong. Because now, what is this one here? What is this piece? It could be red, or it could be blue. Both choices are the same. Imagine that this is correct, and I have an entire puzzle solution over here that just, there's one puzzle solution. I could then complete the puzzle by making this red or by making this blue, which would mean that there would be 2 puzzle solutions that are both equally valid, and this game doesn't work that way. Every puzzle solution is unique. In fact, the game designers have gone back. I should check this out. There were 1 or 2 puzzles that actually had multiple correct solutions. Players found it, they pointed it out, the designers fixed it so that the puzzles only had 1 solution, which means I can pretty confidently say that every puzzle in this game is meant to have 1 single solution. And if there are puzzles with multiple solutions, the game developers will actually fix that. They won't fix what this game actually needs to have fixed. They'll fix a bunch of minor bullshit that doesn't matter, whatever. They would fix this. So this can't be the right solution. It must be red. I'm going to go with that. I'm going to go with the uniqueness as the answer, which means this must be blue because we have to have 2 regions here. It means that is that. This has to be red. That's got to be red. So now this has to be blue because we got to have 2 regions here. And if this is blue, this is also blue. That means the red goes like that. This works because then it's a unique solution for this area. That means this has to be blue, which means this is also blue. We can't have checkerboards in this style of puzzle. This has to go like this. That means there must be... this is where it's going to get tricky. Because I could do this and that, or I could do this and that. But either way, there has to be red here. This has to be blue. This has to be red. But now this has a... Oh, no. Okay, so I'm going to go back, because now there's a uniqueness problem on both sides. Both sides. Oh, shit. So let's go... If I do this here, if I just look at this top one, I need to have 2... The red region needs to come out. this needs to be red because we have two regions. This would need to be blue, and this would need to be red. Okay, so maybe... Okay, then the uniqueness problem might not actually be a problem down here. I might have missed something. There's just no way. If this is red, however, and we do it this way, then I need to have a blue somewhere here. This needs to be blue. But then what? I can take this through. I can also take it through there. I have a couple options. This could... Oh, they can both be the same. Okay, I got it. So this can't be blue because we worked out that means red needs to go here. And then I need to put a red there to make two regions. And there needs to be a blue here to make two regions there. We have a problem. So we know that that is red. But I made the assumption, wrongly, that it meant this was blue. Because I was like, we need two regions. But we already have blue in this area because it's this edge. Because I'm so fucking stupid. So this can also be red. That means this definitely has to be. Now, if this is red... Well, no. This for sure has to be what it is. So let's keep that where it was. Now that I explained for the benefit of my two fans. If this is blue, however, then we end up with a uniqueness problem here. So I think we're going to end up with red on both of these, which means this has to be blue here. That's going to be that. The red's got to go this way. This has to be blue as well. This has to be blue, which means this is all blue. So if this is red, we don't want checkerboards because the way that these rules all interact will never connect the two regions if we put blue here, so this will make that red. But if this is blue, this has to be red anyway because we need two regions in this 2x2. So red has to go here no matter what. Gotta figure something out here. This is gonna have to escape. This has to all be blue, so that's that. It's gotta be blue here. This has to be red, so we gotta do that. It's all red. This is actually, I'm jinxing it. This is actually not a terrible puzzle. It is redundant. It's a puzzle I don't want to see any more of. There should have been plenty of other puzzles cut before we got to this one. Or this could have been one of the ones that's cut. But so far, it's not like the other puzzles that made me want to literally go on a shooting spree. Let's do this here. That's got to be like that. Now, if I made this red, would we be fine? Yeah, we can make both those blue. If I made this blue, it would be fine. Yeah, we make those two red. Okay, we're not getting an answer from that. Blue's got to go here then. At least one of these is blue. Does anything happen if I do that? Or if I make these blue, then I would need this to also be blue, which would make this piece red. If I made these red, does that force this piece to be red? No, it doesn't. I can just make both of them blue. Or red and blue. I can still do whatever I want there. It's not helpful. Oh, right, that there. That means this needs to be red. There needs to be a blue somewhere. So if there's a blue here, there would have to be blue like that. Now, if there's a blue here, red's got to come out, and we don't have an answer. That's all the same. These are two different colors. So if this is blue, this is red. That's what has to happen. Because of this thing. Because over here, we had the two ones that I was confused about because I'm a moron. This region 2 over here just meant that this square needed 2, but not over, it doesn't matter. So over here, I got to do red and blue. One's red, one's blue. So if I made this one blue over here, I would have to take these, so I'd have to do this. And would this cause a problem? I would need red there. I would need red to go here, which would mean blue goes there. And this is all good so far. Okay, I need to break the puzzle quicker than this. What's happening? This needs to, this could be anything. This needs to be blue. See, the problem is if this is wrong, I need to back up quite a bit. Then we need to do all of this as blue. Then this needs to be red, so we would have to avoid checkerboarding. Then we'd need blue on all of these, which means this has to be blue. This all seems fine. Nothing's broken, and there's no way to know if this is wrong yet. But maybe that is the correct answer, and I need to back this up and change it around so that this is all red here. So if this is red, then this all has to go up as red. This would need to be blue. This would need to be red. This would need to be blue. This needs to be blue to avoid Oh, okay, yeah, we can't have checkerboard. So yeah, already just broken. That's what I should have done first. It is in fact blue, blue. Oh no, I'm so dumb. Blue here, red's got to be these. So then this worked out really nicely too, which is why that I was suspicious that this was in fact the correct answer. But sometimes it works out really nicely and it's not the correct answer, or I need some other information before I can continue. So because of this, there needs to be blue here. There needs to be blue here, which means we can't have checkerboard, so these all have to be blue. These have to be red, which means no checkerboards. These, excuse me, sir, these have to be blue, which means this all has to be blue, which means this is blue. It means we gotta get red into here somewhere, but this way or like here? Not 100% sure this needs to be blue, which means that is. It means this is red right here. If I made this blue, would I be in trouble? Yes, I would, because I would need to extend this down. So this needs to be red, which means this needs to be red. It means I gotta have blue there. I also need to have blue here, so this has to be red. This gotta be blue, which means this is all blue. It means red comes through there. Great. So that solves this. Now we don't have a uniqueness issue on this side. This has to be blue, which means this is all blue. This has got to be red, which means this is all blue. We're great. And now we just got to solve this lower end. Means blue is here. Red can come around, or we can have blue here and come around. That's really not helpful. Oh, this is all one unit, so this can't be red, because then it would all be red. So this has to be all blue, which means blue's got to cut this way. And this has to be red, so we do have to carry this all the way around. This has to be red, so we can do this. Cool, that actually was a pretty good one, although it was easier than I thought it would be. I'm actually starting to a little worry that a lot of times I like the puzzles more when they're easier in this game, and it's because when the puzzles are hard, that's not really true. I've liked quite a lot of hard puzzles, but sometimes a puzzle is only good because it's not hard. And I think it's the case with loopy and bricky puzzles. When they get hard, they just become pixel hunt puzzles, and that's just not fun. This one ended up being much easier to figure out, and I honestly would not say it's a 7. I would say it's like a 6, but whatever. That's pretty minor. So where is that bricky puzzle? We're going to do that one again today, just to make sure we get all of the really shitty puzzles out of the way. It's not that one. It's not either of these up here. We're going to find it. I don't remember. I did this... I played this recently, and I just didn't go back and look at my videos because I certainly don't watch my videos. I hate the sound of my own voice. I'm not doing that shit. Is there a puzzle I'm not seeing somewhere? Maybe there's a hidden guy somewhere. Maybe it's this guy here. No. Is there one like hidden under the water? No. Where are you? Puzzle with terrible rule that I want to deal with. Is it? No, it's not that one. That's precision. This is precision. This also is precision. Yeah, these all have fine rules. They're fine little puzzles. That one's probably not going to be fun, but it's fine. All of these look good. It's not this one here. I just looked at that. It's not this one. It's none of these. Those are all shaping puzzles. It's not that. It's not this one. Is it one of the ones up here? It might be one of the ones up here. Yeah, it's this one. We're doing this because the bricky rule. The rest of the rules are good. This might actually be a good puzzle, but I know for sure if I just get these out of the way, I can get all my whining and bitching out of the way, and I can end this fucking series on something positive. I need something positive to end this series on. Okay, these go here. This, it could go that way. I'm not totally sure. Definitely have. Oh, they're all tetrominoes. It's like these are all tetrominoes here because there's a rule here. They all gonna be tetrominoes. So there's that. There's nothing that says these can't be the same shape either. Dang. The bricky might come into play here, and it might make this a real pain in the ass to solve. That is the problem. This piece, at least I can go somewhere. I know it moves to the right. One space. Now, what can I do with the rest of this? If I move... Yeah, this is going to have to move out. These both have to move out like that. Which means I can't do this right now because I could just... I'm trying to think, what can I do with the brickiness? Because like if I did this O shape down here, then if I moved this piece up, we'd have brickiness right here, right? That's what we'd have. But I don't have quite enough information to immediately cross off a brickiness issue. Mingle shape is also important to know, so I can't do that, because then they'd have two shapes next to each other which are the same shape. Let's see. This won't go that. This can't go this way. Actually, I think this will only go that way. Is that right? If I move this S to the right, there's an empty thing that doesn't work. And yeah, so I have to block it. I have to make this F shape. So that is set. So if I move this to the right, I have to make that shape. I can't move it that way. Can I move it down like this? Yes. This way, probably not. If I move this shape down, I can't have brickiness here because I'd have this issue already, so I'd have to move this up, which would make that shape. And now the only way to fill it in is like so. So that's a possible thing I could do. But I could also do that. This would go here, which means I can't take that down. I would have to bring... Yeah, I'd have to bring this up and around. This would go here. This would go. We'd have that problem. Unless we did this, and then we had brickiness here. Okay, so I think that was a very long way to say this doesn't work. I'm going to work through that again. Sometimes I get there and I wonder if I really did that right. So if I assume I put a wall here, right? And this guy moves to the right. Well, I can't move to the right again, because no matter what the shape is, we have a problem up here. So it's got to do that, which is going to force an I shape there. Now, I don't want brickiness here. So if I do this, we have bricky. Of course, we have a problem there. So I'd have to fill that in. I can do it this way, though. See, yeah, that's why I go over things, is maybe there's another way out of this. I can't then bring this up because that's bricky, so I have to bring it down. This still has to go that way. And then, oh, I have a problem in here now, because what shape goes here? It's going to be another O shape, and that's a problem. So I think we can pretty confidently say now, this must go down. What does it do from there? Who knows? Can this go across at all? Now, if I bring this across... This goes down again. This guy must go down here, and it's just a matter of is it that or is it that. And now I would need to do that. I couldn't make it like that. This isn't going to happen because I'm having a English shape problem. So it would be this. We'd have to make that shape, and then we would have to do. Oh, we can't make this work because now this is an I shape. So. That won't work. We can't bring this over. So if that's the case, then this must be a single shape moving up like that. This here is a problem. So I think it's got to go down like that. And now we have this. Can't go here, we'd have to go like that. Which means what's this shape going to be? It's got to touch all of those. And then what's this shape going to be? If I put a wall here, that'd be brick, so we'd have to do that. So this would be a problem, this would be fine. This could be an L shape. In fact, that has to be here. This all works out. I think this is it, but I don't feel super confident with this. I can't bring this up that way, but I can bring it up this way. Could I put a wall here? It would have to be like that. Well, I certainly can't. I don't think I can do this. If I move this here, then we have the question of it's either that shape or it's that shape. Now this shape doesn't work because now we have an S shape here. this shape doesn't work because you have a T shape there. So we got to put a wall there. So the question is, how do we do it? If we go up, across, we have a problem there. If we go down across, we don't have a problem. That's possible. If I put a wall here, we'd have to take these, and we'd have to take that. We'd have to make an I shape, and we're fine. I'd have to bring something down. Seems alright. If I blocked this, could I do it this way? I put I shape, L shape. So far, so good. I'm not getting any answers to that. It's okay. Can I get any answers anywhere else? If I put a thing here, I'd have to have a new shape here that goes out, and it can't be this L because it'd be touching another L without being the L. So it'd be an S shape, which would force this out, and it couldn't go up here, so it'd have to be like that. And now we're in trouble. Yeah, this ends up being that. Is that all? That's all guaranteed if I do this. This can't be an O, an I, or an L because it's touching those three without being them. And it can't be a T, so this would be an S. This L ends up, yep. So these two have to go together. Which means this could be here, or we could do something else. We just know that these two go together. Now, if I suppose we have a separate shape here. What's this shape? It just can't be L or O. If I put a separate shape here, this L still has to come up. This would come down. But we can't do that. Well, we might be able to do that in this case. I just don't think that's true, though. Yeah, that's not enough information. I can't do this. Because if I do this, we're forced to make this move. So that's got to be a separate shape. And it can't be an L. That means if I connect it here, just fine. Or I can do... This would be a problem because this can't move up or right. And so we'd have bricky. So it would be like this. This would force me to put two pieces together here. Which could be like that. Yeah, this would work out just fine. Does anything weird happen if I do this? I don't think so. I need something weird to happen. Actually, if I do it this way, now I need these two to go together. Which isn't really saying much. How about... this piece? We can't bring it up that far. We can't bring it up this way. In fact, if I bring it to the right at all, if I bring this piece to the right, I can do that. I can also... I can't do that because I'll have brickiness. I can do this. But I can also do something like that. Or... I can't do that. I can do this. Well, there's just too many options here. This guy. If I move this T shape leftward, I have one of two options. This option or that option. Neither of which are immediately wrong to me. This option... This one actually is pretty restrictive because now this piece must connect here because if it doesn't, it does that. Or it touches some other thing. So we'd be forced to make this move, which means what goes here? It can't be L, T, or O. It can't be an I shape. It would have to be an S shape, but the S shape isn't going to fit. So from that, we know that this ain't the shape here. But is this the shape? Once again, this L shape must connect. So what goes here? It can't be L, T, or O. It can't be an I. It doesn't fit. It can't be an S, because an S goes like this, and now we have something here. We can't bring that down, so it would be its own thing. So from that, we're going to determine, oops, that we have a wall there. That's got to be a new shape. So if I did this, we would definitely be connecting these. Once again, I can't do that. I don't think I can do this. If I do this move, if I did this move, I think the puzzle breaks for a number of other reasons. We have to have this here. So now what goes in this spot? Right? Can't be an L. Can't be an O. Can't be an I. Doesn't fit. Can't be an S. Can't be a T. Nothing fits. Nothing fits if I do that. So... certainly can't do that. Can I? This would force me to make that move, which would force this down. this would be an I shape. And we would be screwed. I think the game is trying to push me this way. I think it's trying to push me now. I'm trying to think, is there any way I can make this piece? Can't go down this far. It would have to be this or that. And this just doesn't work. Because now what goes here? If this is not the S, it's that. If this is the S, then what's this? That's another L shape. Because this can't go down. Okay, so we know that. Is there any way we go up at all? If we go up, we can't bend like that. Can we do it this way? No, because this is a problem. This is not a problem. Doggone it. No. I wanted to... Okay, this is actually good. I actually like this. This is a good frustrating. And it's good because the Bricky rule's not coming up very much. The best rules with Bricky are the ones that are mostly all the other rules. And then occasionally we just need Bricky to do the disambiguation. Which is still not great puzzle design, but it's not terrible because we're not focusing on a rule that's really, really terrible to work with. So here's a thing. This can't be an L because it would be this. And we'd have nothing to put here. It can't be an O, which is if it can't be an S. So it's either T or I. Now if it's T, it's that. It's fine. If it's I, it's that. Now an I would force a T here. Because it can't be I, L, S, or O. It would be a T. Like that. Which makes this S do this. Which makes that. Which makes this. Is that right? This would be I. This guy's got to come down around. I think we break the puzzle this way. So I think it's the other. I think it's got to be a T up here. So I think we got to have a T, which means this here. Now, if this wasn't the S, we couldn't have an S, an L, an O, and then it couldn't be a T. It would have to be an I. So yeah, this has to go this way. Which means it can't be this piece. So it would be these two. If we move this up, I think we're immediately broken. Yeah, because it wouldn't go here. Yeah, we'd have an L piece there. So what about if we didn't go here? We'd have a new piece here that would bend to be an L. So the L would be like that. I'm not 100% sure on this, but like there's only two options up here. But it could be that all of this is wrong. So the L would have to go down or around. Can't go around this way. It could go around this way and leave an O shape. That would work out really nicely. In fact, these two have to go together. We can't have a wall there because it's bricky. So if these two go together, then if I made... if this moves up, it's not an S shape, so we'd have an L shape here. Therefore, this is here. We'd need these two to go together as well. So if this isn't the part of this orange space I'm making, then it's this. So this has to be that shape, which means this has to come down. We definitely... This could be an I shape, though. No, this is an I shape. This is a problem. We have brickiness here. And we have an empty thing, and that's a problem. So this is the L. Right? That's just got to be it. This is all working out so very well that I hope it's the answer. So now if I brought this up like so, that ain't gonna work. If I bring this up like that's not gonna work. It would have to be this. This actually works. I'm trying to make sure. Well, now if this moves up at all, definitely don't have that. This doesn't work because if I move in, we have an L shape. So if I move up, I gotta do that, right? Yeah, if I move this up, I have to move down. This doesn't work. This doesn't work. So I think this doesn't move up. Let's move here? No. I think we're forced here. So if these don't connect, we gotta put a wall here. What happens if we put a wall here? We can't go down three ways. So we either go this way or this here is gonna be a problem because now we can't fit everything in. This doesn't work. This doesn't work because now we have a problem there. This doesn't work because now we have a problem there. I think that's everything. So I think we have to do that. which means this piece here can't be S, O, or L, and it can't be an I. It must be a T, which means it's part of this T, which makes that happen here. That's correct? I guess. So over here, what do we do? I can sort of see an answer in this sort of thing, right? This is a potential solution, but is it right, is the question. No one could ever know. It would work out very well if that was the answer. What about this? If I did something here, that's not going to work. Actually, hold on. This L is somewhat restricted. What are all the ways I can do it? If I move it left, I can't do this because we'll be bricky. So it would have to move left again and either go up or down. Now, if I don't move it left at all, if I move it right, I can't do that. I can't do that. I would have to move it this way. Now, if I move it both left and right, I would have to go like this. I can't. This is bricky. Oops. Actually, this is bricky as well. This is possible, but now this shape is an L. So no, I can't move both left and right, either one or the other. If I don't move either left and right, I move up like that. So I can't move here, I can't move there. So it would be this, and then we have an L shape here. So I don't move up. Okay, so 1, 2, 3. Unfortunately, no commonalities in them. So let's find one that doesn't work. This one works. I don't think this works. If I move to the right like so, this piece comes out. Now what goes in this little spot? It's got to be an O shape. It's the only thing that's going to fit there, which means this shape can't be I, O, or T, or L. It'll touch that, so it has to be S, and it leaves an orphan shape there. So I think we've got to move leftward. Now if I move left and up, I bring this in. This space here can't be T or I or L. It's going to touch an L somewhere, so it's S or O. If it was an S, it would be like that, so it would be an O shape. Now this one here has some options, I think. Can't be O, L, or I, probably. Well, it can't be I, it doesn't fit. It's an S or a T. S breaks, this would be T, and then we'd have bricky. So I think this is the only option, which gives me an S here. Yeah, can't be an I, can't be an L, can't be an O, can't be a T, because it'd be that, so this has to be S. Then T has to go here. Yeah, so my first thing was correct. Now these two pieces will go together, so the question is how? Don't know. It can't be T, L, or I, so it's S or O. If it was S, if this is an S, this is the only way to make that S. That isn't going to work, so this is in fact an O shape. How do we do it from here? Does this move this way? If I move this S to the left, I then can't move there. I could do something like this? No, I can't. I have to take this spot. If I don't, I can't take that spot. If I don't take that spot, if I don't take either of those, S is this shape, and then T has to come up, and then we're blocking in some orphan cells. So it would be this one, and it'd be that. Now, this would require me to win the puzzle. Yeah, it just wins. This is it. Okay. This is actually a good puzzle. Man, I was hoping to get the really shitty ones out of the way, and then I didn't. I got good ones out of the way. Well, the first one was mediocre. This one was a good puzzle. I liked this one a lot. This rule actually came in handy, but it didn't make me have to, like, search. Because the thing with this rule and Loopy is that they tend to make you have to pixel hunt in a puzzle, and that's not fun. Whereas this one, I never ended up having to do that. And so it's like, I keep saying that Bricky and Loopy should be cut simply because the game is too large, and you should just get rid of anything that isn't a 10 out of 10. You just need to keep the stuff that works, save the rest for your DLC, or for your, puzzle designer that everyone plays. Save it for that. Get rid of stuff. But if you absolutely needed to keep the Bricky rule, keep puzzles like this. Don't keep the other ones. They're so terrible. Just keep this stuff here. This is not... Oh, a hard place. Restore the most difficult window. Not this. This is not necessary. You don't ever need a puzzle like that. Bad designers. No biscuit. Okay, I actually have time for more, so I'm going to do a puzzle now that has good rules in it. Let's hit around some sixes. Let's see if this one's good. It's probably good. It's got a bunch of really fun rules in it. So we've got boxes, solitude, so we can't do that. And then the compass rule actually is only here to give us these blank things, and these compasses are just there to create extra regions that don't touch these guys. So the question now with this 9 is, where does the 9 go? Does the 9 go in a straight line? If it was a straight line, it wouldn't be side to side, because it would touch those. It would be up and down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Totally possible. 9 can't be 2 by something. 9 is either a straight line or a 3 by 3. If 9 is 3 by 3, it must be these. Right? That must be the 9. If it's a 3 by 3. And I think it's not a 3 by 3. And the reason is these 6s now are a problem. Are they? Are the 6s a problem? They're not. They barely fit. Shoot. Thought they didn't fit. Well, it's possible. But if 9 isn't this, it can be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. But either way, these two belong to the 9. Yay! Now these two have to... I don't have mingle shape, which is great. Mingle shape would be impossible, I think, here. I just have... The only thing to worry about is boxing. The rest of it's just what I see on the screen. 4... This 6 is interesting. Solitude means I can't... Oh, this 6... Unfortunately, I have this possibility and that possibility, which means I can't guarantee the 6 goes in any direction. Let's see. Can I do that with another one? This one's a little trickier. This, if I could rule out this 9, I'd be so happy. How do I rule out this 9? Maybe I don't rule out the 9. Maybe I rule out the long 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, is there a way to rule this out? This doesn't seem to get me anywhere. I feel like I can do whatever I want with that. Whereas this, this 9 at least is restrictive, because now I can't make a straight line 6 here. It has to be that shape. This 6 then can't be a straight line here or there, so it must take these. This 6 has a bit, but we're not, that's all we're forced to do. Because I can do that, or I can do that. Yeah, it's something, but it isn't enough to base the puzzle on without saying I'm just guessing, which is what we do in the shitty puzzles I did in the last couple of videos. What can I do here? I can make straight lines in either direction. I can also make a box like that. If I can rule out this straight line somehow, then I would know that the 4 goes that way, which would be something. What can I rule out this way? 6 is not at all restricted if I do this. Can I rule out something like this? Maybe I can start thinking about the negative constraint of solitude. Negative constraint meaning, like, the opposite of the rule, not the opposite of the rule, but what it means for it. So the constraint here is that each symbol is its own symbol. You can't put 2 in there. But it also means you can't have 0. So for instance, if I did this, right, as my 6, and the 9 was a straight line, because it would have to be now, what goes in there? This 6 doesn't reach. So this 6 can't be that shape. In fact, it can't be like this either. Let me think of the shapes of this 6 here. So we know, well, we know that's that. We know it's not a straight line this way. We also know it's not a straight line here. So it must be a 2 by 3. So the ways it can be 2 by 3, this is one way, this is another way, and this is a third way. So let's start with this shape. This 6 right here causes a problem because this 9 can't extend that direction because it would have to be 3 by 3. So the 9 is now at least that. which means this shape here needs to be part of a box and part of a region. It can't be this one, it won't reach. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 still doesn't get me that spot. None of the regions, in fact, fit. Therefore, this is not the 6. Could it be this? Now the question of what goes here. This needs to be part of a box, can't be that region because it would be a non-boxy region. It can't be part of the 9, same region. The 4 doesn't reach, therefore it's not that. The 6 must, in fact, be this shape right here. That's something. Still gives me room for this 9. Now about this 6, I think we have the same, we can't bring this 6 up like that. Actually, I think we have a similar issue here. 1, 2, if we have this go down, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, at least this far. What touches that? Well, it can just be this region. What touches that? It could just be that. Okay, so I didn't rule it out there. But we just know that this 6 has to be there. Can I do that trick anywhere else? If I do this, well, that could just go all the way over, so no. If I go here, no. What goes there? That's a good question. What goes in this corner? It's not the 4. 4 won't reach. It's not the 6. The 6 won't reach. It would have to be large. So this has to be a region that's one of these. And the only one that's going to work is this region right here. That's got to go that way. Which means this is a single line. It can't extend up. But this has to go here. And now what goes there? What goes in this spot right here? It's not the 4. It's not this region because it would bend. It's not this region because it would bend. It's not this region because it won't fit. Therefore, this region goes here. And that's a straight line 6. And now what goes in this spot right here? It must be this guy. Yeah, let's make it purple. They stand out a little more. So that's got to be, this has to be at least like so. What goes here? This 6 won't reach. It'll massively overload. This won't reach because it'll bend. It'll be non-boxy. This would be non-boxy. It must be the 4. Because it must be a region because of solitude. So this has to be a straight line as well. What goes here? Can't be the 6, won't reach. Can't be this 6, it won't reach. So it must be this region. That must be the one that goes there. And then this region must be complete, which means the 6 now has to extend like so. So this 9 no longer can be a straight line. It must be this region here. So this must be just a 2 by 2. This is another 9 region. Make them the same color so I see that. This 6 now must be like this. There, I should have remembered that trick sooner. Jeez. Can I do it again? What goes there? What goes in this corner? This 4 doesn't reach. This 4 doesn't reach. This 6 definitely doesn't reach. Any of these would have to bend around the 4. Therefore, this guy goes into the corner like so. And that's as far as it can go, so it's an 8. Now this 4 can't be a straight line there, so it must take that spot. What goes there? This 4 must touch this region. Can't be the 6 or 4, obviously. None of these can reach without bending around the 4. So this 4 goes here, and it must be like that. What goes there? Could be the 6, though. Barely reaches. Could be that. What goes there? This 4 doesn't reach anymore. Same with that spot. This piece must go up there. Which means the 6... Well, we could do that. We could also do some other thing. This is fine. If I did this, I would be forced to do what? I wouldn't be forced to do much from there. This spot. How about this corner here? Oh no, this corner can be, yeah, I can just do that. Can I find another spot like that where I can do some trick? What goes here? What goes in this spot right there? Not this 6. all of these compasses would have to bend to get there. They have to be non-boxy. This can't reach. The 6 must go up, which means it's not a straight line 6. It must also take these 2. So either it's that or it's that. This would force this piece in, which is fine. This would force the 4 in, which would force this piece in. Right? Yeah, I think no matter what, if I do this, this blue section I've created has got to go in. But if I go this way, then the 4 needs to move into the space I left behind, which means it's going. So no matter what, this piece goes like that. So either we have this here. Okay, so this piece doesn't move right. It's either going to be like this, like that, or like that. But it does have to take these 2. This piece can move rightward as far as we'd like. We're not sure yet. But it can't go to this space here, which means the 6 has to go to that space. Which means it's either that or it's a straight. Oh, it can't be a straight line. There's not enough spaces here. So it is this. It must be, right? Yeah, because it can't bend up now without being non-boxy. So it must be that. Which means this is also a 6. That's got to be there, which means this space now must be occupied by the 4. So it could be that, it could be this. This would force that guy down. Whereas here, we can easily fill it in that way. It doesn't matter. Huh. That means what goes there? Yeah, we have 2 options. This one or that one. Well, now this space, not reachable by this 6 or that 4. Never was. But it's now not reachable by that. It's not reachable by these. This space here is reachable by these 2. And that. It's 2 and that. It's too many things. Too many things to think about. If I did this here. Oh, this would break the puzzle. If I make this 6 go over here in a straight line, then what goes in this space can't be the 4. The 4 has to go like that. Now nothing goes there. So the 6 can't be a straight line, which means back to this question of what goes in this corner. It's not the 6. It must be one of these guys. It's not this 6. So it's either that piece or that piece. Which is not as helpful as I'd like. I'd like to narrow it down further than that. What goes there? Well, actually, if the 6 moves to the right at all, then we have the 4 going like this, which means the 6 has to go like that. So if it goes to the right, this is the full shape. If it doesn't go to the right, it can't go leftward because then it's not going to fit. So either way, it doesn't go to the left, which means this piece has to come down. If it doesn't go to the right, 1, 2, 3, 4, we would have to fill all of that in, which works. Right, hold on a second. Let me get rid of this to make sure I'm thinking about that straight. Does it go left ever? If it goes left, this shape doesn't work because we forced that. If it goes left as a line, it doesn't work as well. So, yeah, it doesn't go left. That goes in. Does it go up like this? I don't see why not quite yet. Right, if it goes up here, either 4 comes in or 6 comes in. Now, if the 6 comes in, we have this, we have that, we have the 4. The problem now is this space needs to be taken by this guy, but now what takes that space? Nothing can reach it. So that does break the puzzle, so we can't do that. If we move up, we gotta move over to the right. If we say we don't move over to the right, we now can't move up, because we have the problem of what goes here. So we would have to not ever move up. We don't move right. We just have to move to the right. We have to do this. There's just no other way to go around this. This is just ends up being 5 instead of anything else. So now this piece has to be taken by this guy right here. This piece, right here. Who takes that spot? It ain't you, it ain't you, it ain't you, it ain't you. You can, you can't, you can't, you can't. So this has to be all the way over, which means this space is now being taken by an 8 right here. That space could be taken by you. Space. That's possible. This is also possible so far. No, this 6 can't be a straight line. Because if the 6 is a straight line, then in order to fill this space, we'd have to make this 6. We'd have to do that, and now there's nothing that fills that space. So that's not going to work. If it's a straight line like this, we have this going on, but now we don't have anything that fits in that space right here. Nothing can fit. So, sorry, back a bit. That means we gotta have this go down. If we don't have it go down, we have a straight line. We can't have a straight line. So it's gotta move down, which means what goes here, yeah, it has to take all of this. So now it's either that, or that, or that. Which means what takes that space? Could be the 4. If I take this here, I think I break the puzzle. Because now this space has to be a straight line. And then what goes there? Can't be these pieces here. None of them's going to fit. So that's going to be blocked off. So, and in fact, if I take this piece over at all, now what goes there? Not this piece, not this piece, not this one, none of them fit. So I've got to make the 6 go up so that I can take this piece with this guy here, like so. And then I got to take this. I got to take all of these. Because if I don't, if I stop it here, what goes in this space right here? Right? You think, okay, well, it's going to be this guy. Well, now it goes here. Well, if you think, all right, fine, I'm going to put something in like this, well, now it goes there. So we've got to bring this down like so. We've got to make a nice 12er. All right, fine. So, got to take these. And then from this point on, I have the puzzle solved. Right? Got another 4 there, and then we got a 6 right here. That's a really good puzzle. I like that puzzle. That is called puzzle design. Oh, thank goodness I've got through all the shitty stuff. I hope so. I hope I do this in the right order. I've been trying to play this game in an order that makes the puzzles get better over time, and I have not been doing well with that. But I'm gonna do it. But it's been an hour, so I'm gonna take a break, come back later, and do more of the puzzle. Yeah, I don't know where I'm gonna go from there next. I don't know what rules to try to go for. Because some of these rules are not my favorite. Like, where's the one I saw? This is not my favorite looking thing. Palisades are just not my favorite. Where was the one? There was one that was like just a ton of palisades. I just kind of groaned. Yeah, this. I was like, oh, okay. Okay. Or this one, was it? Yeah, this one was just like, all right, this one's probably going to be annoying to solve. But better than a bricky puzzle. So at least I have that to look forward to. I can end the game on a positive note, so even though I hate the game overall, I will not do my last moments with this game in pain. That is what I'm just trying to do. Man, I'll say it till I'm blue in the face. Actually, I'm already blue in the face. I will say it until everyone is dead. This game would have been a good game if it was cut by at least 50%. That's the first step to making this a good game. There's plenty of other stuff that would need to happen. But, like, what a bag fumble, as far as I'm concerned, as far as making something good. Like, you have all the elements to make a good game here. And the designers you have making your puzzles are clearly talented and know what they're doing for the most part. And just a whiff. You brought Ken Griffey Jr. up to the bat and he struck out 3 whiffs in a row. There you go. That's a nice, timely reference for all the kids. All right, I'm gonna go. Goodbye.